I want to have children. You got to get a girlfriend first.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
See, I'm old school. I'm conservative.
First.
I'm going to get a wife.
Well, that was in regards, Willard and Dibs.
What kind of life do you live?
Kyle Shanahan said, hey, I want the third possession. Well, worry about the first two first to get to the three.
Thank you. Third possession.
Listen,
that's a loser mentality, Guru. That's what it is.
Well, then you can call me a loser because in the middle of while it's happening, my mind was on the exact same thing. And I still maintain, even though it feels like every day, you know how those reality shows, America says, like it feels like we're moving more and more every day toward Kyle was an idiot.
Oh, right.
And we're learning.
We're there, yeah.
No,
we've learned.
In the moment, that's what I was thinking, and I still maintain that if it had played out that way, let's say you deferred, and the Chiefs get a field goal, and you get a field goal, and then Patrick only needs a field goal to beat you, I think Kyle gets
He gets rid. Well, you said it yesterday.
I think he gets hammered for that
you get
decision.
a field goal, and you hold them to a field goal, and then Kyle comes out, and it's 4th and 3, and we're going to punt, and we're going to give our defense a chance to get us the ball back for that 5th possession.
Here's what I will say. You can have any opinion you want, obviously. This is pretty split down the middle, but I did hear someone like screaming at Bonte and Joe this morning, a caller who's like, you've always deferred. You've deferred all year. And then you get to this and you don't defer. And I'm like, you do realize this is a completely different deferral than before the game.
And your defense
it's a completely different deferral.
But here's what I thought.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Don't compare it to the beginning of a game. That's totally different.
I won't compare it word for word. But I do think when you find out both teams get the ball, then it does lengthen the possibility of overtime.
Of course.
Right. And so at that point, but this is what I thought. Oh, both teams get the ball? Oh, well, at that point, the game's longer, possibly. So let's stick to what we would normally do in a situation like that. Now, listen, did it cost them the game? I'm not willing to go A to B like that.
Right.
How about this? Is it were the Chiefs more prepared for that than the 49ers?
Of course.
Okay.
And they won they won the poker match.
And how much?
Because if you knew they were going to go for two, there's now you don't. Now you don't. There's never going to be a third possession.
Let me ask you two that.
Unless it's field goals.
49ers get 7. Mahomes comes back, gets 6. Do you believe the Chiefs would have gone for 2? Dan Dibley.
Of course, yeah.
100%.
Do you really?
Absolutely. Knowing that the Niners would...
I don't know.
The Niners only need a field goal, and Jake Moody's already blasted 2 from 55 yards.
Yeah.
So you're saying we can either kick an extra point and hope that our defense will not let the Niners cross the 50.
Or we try to win it with our offense.
Or we try to win it right now with Patrick Mahomes.
With the best quarterback in football and maybe the best quarterback ever. And you've got 2 Lombardis in your pocket.
Yeah,
so
I'm with
even
you.
if Andy goes for it and they lose,
that's a great point.
Andy's like, well, we thought we had a good play from 2.5 yards, and, darn it, we like our chance to be back here next year. And, we've already got 2 of the last 3, and we've been here 3 of the last 4. So
that is true.
There was no pressure on the Chiefs.
Right.
At any point this whole week, there was no pressure
it's like
on the Chiefs.
when you're the big stack and you're playing Texas Hold'em, and it's like, okay, somebody goes all in, and you look at your cards, and you go, I don't love my cards. It's a coin flip. Sure, I'll match you. I'll go all in.
I've done it.
I got the big stack.
Yeah.
They had the big stack. Now, could Kyle have gone for 2? A little bit tougher.
Oof.
Yeah.
I would say no.
I would say no. But you know what?
Say no.
And let's put
I would
the rat
say
on the
he
table.
should, but he won't.
Brought to you by
why would Andy Reid have gone for 2? Well, because he's probably thinking at the end of the day, I'm going to be 7-4 in the Super Bowl or 7-3. You know what I mean?
Well, I would
Kyle
also.
Shanahan,
And he's got Mahomes.
So here's the other thing to argue. I would say now thinking more about it, and I did tell Dibs this early in the week, I would only switch to say defer if you're automatically going to commit right there to we're going for 2 if it's touchdown. And here's why. It's not even just the can we get a 2-yard play, which is, I know, a little bit, give or take, a 50-50 play depending on who your offense and quarterback are. But you're now into a 6th quarter. I am not asking my defense to go get a 3-and-out.
And that's why
quarter number 6.
When you've got 3 guys already hurt.
Quarter number 6, Dre Greenlaw is out for the year. right?
And they just went on. Oh, go ahead.
There's
I'm going back to original
I would argue that if it was tied after one possession each, the chances of that next team, either one of them, getting a field goal are north of 75%.
I ain't mad at that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd go for 2.
Yeah, and that speaks to the third possession argument. It's like me right now, and, I'm waiting for you guys to wish me a happy half birthday, and I guess I won't hold my breath.
Now, why would we say half? It's tomorrow?
It's my birthday 6 months from today. It's a half birthday.
Keep in your pocket.
That's a 1.
Don't pander to it.
Dude,
I'm done.
I'm not asking you to judge it. It's a fact. In 6 months, I will have an actual birthday. Today's a half birthday. If you don't celebrate it, that's on you.
No,
I've never heard the Dib math.
But you asked for basically an acknowledgement. And,
I demanded it.
No, you're going to be waiting.
And
for
I was
a while.
waiting for a present from the 3 you slappies, and I'm hoping by 6 o'clock or 5:30, it comes to fruition. My point is, if I was to invest in a 50-year investment right now, that's a losing investment for me at 55.
Okay, gotcha.
So Kyle Shanahan waiting for a third possession, to me, feels the same way. You're putting your money into a thing that is not going to bear fruit, most likely. I don't know if we've
on the present.
Have we ever had a third possession in the playoffs in overtime? Maybe once or twice.
In
I'd have to look it up.
In the playoffs?
In the playoffs.
Well,
the playoffs.
How long? This rule's only been here for a very short amount of time.
But even before that, like the idea of a punt and another punt.
Right.
Or
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really happen.
Does anybody buy though what John Lynch said, which was that our defense was sucking air and we needed to get off the field?
I watched that.
Right, but then 20 minutes later, they were still sucking air and they still were terrible.
But you had to give them a breather, man. After that 11-play drive, and they stopped them from losing the game. They stopped the Chiefs.
The clock stopped. The clock. Clock.
All right. But you get my drift.
I do.
Now, can I do something here? We've been talking football, rightfully so, all week, but the Warriors had a game last night, and we'll get to the Clay foul. But I like to have fun and laugh. It keeps you young. Have you ever seen a player go down like Draymond Green did, Dibs, and the game kept going? His own players did. They went up and back 4 times, I counted.
This is where
somebody say, my God, Willard's down.
Dibs and I'll take this one.
Well,
as knowing the rules.
I mean, for me, there are 2 things, and I referee. I referee little kids, so when I see that with little kids, I don't care if you have a fast break going this way. Boom, we are going to stop the game. We're going to stop the game. However, grown men, when you've got a situation, and unfortunately, in the association, 9 times out of 10, the player is okay. Now, in this case, he was not okay. It turned out he was okay a little bit later.
They were stepping over him.
Stepping over him. To me, if it's a safety issue, you stop the game. I'm surprised they didn't stop the game because I thought, Steiny, where he was, it was a safety issue. Like, you can't conduct a normal basketball play with a 6'5" guy laying in the heat. They kept playing.
They were actually.
I was surprised.
Why? They like playing 4-on-5 when Draymond's on the floor.
They do, but then it was 5-on-4, and then it was 4-on-5, then it was 5-on-4, and he was still
going like a Benny Hill.
To me, it is interesting because maybe I'm wrong, but my understanding is if the officials think it's serious, they'll stop it, whether there's an advantage or not.
Right.
So they don't stop it. Now I think the refs in a way are like, well, now we'll just wait for the Warriors to take a foul. But they didn't. They didn't take a foul.
My teammates, Willard.
So I'm not sure what you do in that situation. And I don't think anybody scored, so you couldn't. Oh, they scored. Now let's stop it. I think they missed. Kind of fast broke a little. I don't.
Was it 3 seconds into key, Willard?
Yes, about 12 times.
I stole that.
Does anybody think that it was officiated a certain way because of who it was?
Of course.
Oh, maybe.
Of course.
Hadn't even thought of that. You already went there. I hadn't even thought of that.
Like the refs were like, I hope someone steps on his head.
But what about the players not stopping, Willard?
What
about
you don't know that. I know you take up for every ref, but you have no idea what was in those 3 people's heads.
Of course. But I don't think they looked at it and thought, I hope somebody shows him. I think more likely was he's going to be fine. He'll get up.
And if it's a little worse than we think, the Warriors will take a foul.
Willard, so his teammates should do it. I think the refs are like, the team will do it. His teammates.
But the teammates should do what?
Stop or call
Stop,
timeout.
and the other team's going to score.
No, you can call a timeout.
Well, yeah, they called
kept
timeout.
playing. Yeah. And I think the refs were like, well, if they're not going to do it.
I think so, too.
Every other sport, every other professional sport, they stop. In football, if somebody goes down, we stop. And if you're under 4 minutes, you're charged a timeout. Fine. In baseball, if the second baseman suddenly goes down, we're not going to throw a pitch. In soccer, a guy goes down, and the other team will kick the ball out automatically, and you'll get it back. But somehow in the NBA, we have a culture where
weird, man.
It was weird. It was weird that, okay, they go down. Man, Draymond's down. Okay, we go down 4-on-5.
He's still down.
And we go back the other way, and then we go back, and then we go back again, and then finally we stop. That's, to me, what was unusual.
Willard, I would have cussed y'all out in the locker room. Next time I'm out, y'all stop the damn. Somebody call the timeout.
Somebody come in the foul.
I couldn't believe it.
It's funny because that game last night to me has been exactly like the Super Bowl. Only the Super Bowl takes you 3 or 4 days to process it, and then you start thinking, well, maybe Kyle did make a big mistake. Well, maybe Bosa did. What is Klay Thompson thinking?
I'm gonna take a play.
Like that's a big problem.
Wow.
Because that isn't even the coach. Hey, no foul. Like that's basketball 101.
Right.
You just cut it to a one-possession game. There's 39 seconds. Let's get a hold. But there's no more to it than that.
No foul needed, Willard.
But Steve Kerr is also 10 feet away screaming no fouls with both arms up in the air like Creed. I mean, like, and then he goes and does it anyway. And for me, I don't know, man. When you see Steve react that way.
That was incredible, man.
Macaulay Culkin.
Well, there are different kinds of reactions when you're frustrated. And when they're that over the top, you start to wonder if you're dealing with what I would call a repeat offender.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
You know
this
what?
This person has been frustrating me a lot this year.
Right.
And they just did again.
Now Klay was a little checked out because of another bad shooting night,
doubt.
and he cost us.
Yes.
I think there's something to that. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Yeah, and young Pajimski puts his hands up. I mean, look at the bench. They're incredible.
Right.
And what scares me,
Chris Paul and Streets.
Yeah.
Even pods they showed, and he goes, Klay.
Yeah, no, double. But I guess, Willard, what I'm saying is I understand the journey for Klay Thompson, and it was a bad night to his standards, but I'm mad at myself for believing that was a scoreboard of what's going on upstairs when it ain't going his way, because that's the only thing that told you to foul. You didn't have to foul. That was the Cardinals. I know you were down.
It's way past. You didn't have to
that
foul.
lets me
You
know the light
absolutely
ain't on.
100% do
You're
anything but
consumed
foul.
with I'm
Right.
playing not up to my like you're not invested in the game.
I don't think it's about how he's playing. I think it's about where his head is.
Yes, I do too.
Well,
I think that he's in a headspace of,
go
and maybe
ahead,
it's
man.
partly that, man, I'm playing badly, but he's not focused on what he needs to be focused on, which in that moment is game situation. Okay, down 3, 39 to go. It's not 25 to go where, okay, this is a 50-50. Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. I missed the call from the coach. My bad. This is a absolute cut and dry, no-brainer. You don't foul. Now, if there's 12 seconds left, good foul. 39 left? I mean, come on, Klay.
No, this is a great point, I think, because there's nobody else on the team that I feel that way about. Where if you're having a bad night, you suddenly have to worry about you mentally just completely heading off of the planet.
Man.
Steph has had bad nights.
Not a 12-year veteran.
Right.
12-year veteran kid.
I mean, even Draymond. I've never felt like
Wow.
he's frustrated, and now, I mean, maybe with the exception of the time that Jordan had him walking off the court. That'd be the only exception. But, like, look at all the Warriors and the frustrations they've dealt with. So many of them are getting older. How about the kids who couldn't get on the floor? Jonathan Kuminga's moments away from asking for a trade or whatever. But I've never felt like they took that personal journey to a spot of, well, now I don't even know what's going. Like I completely lost track of time, space,
right?
And
I'm just out here.
Game.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
just out here.
I'm just gonna let.
I felt bad for him. Really, I did.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you feel bad for him?
Because it's a glimpse into it's bigger than the score. He's on his own personal journey, and he's doing it at work, Willard.
I'm having a hard time with sympathy here.
So maybe
I'm having a really hard. Like we all get the injuries, and we all getting older, and we all get that. But like anything that any of us have dealt with in life, at what point do you look at the person who's dealing with a challenge and go, "Okay, I acknowledge your challenge. Get off the floor." And do something about it. How are you going to handle your challenge? Are you simply going to curl up in a ball in the corner?
Well, I think we're getting the answer to that.
But you can't do that.
No, you can't.
He's acting like he's the only player in NBA history who is dealing with diminishing skills.
No, I won't argue that.
That's
but guys, I'm just saying my trust for him, it took a hit yesterday. And maybe, Willard, you were already there. Like you may have
watched
already
the whole year,
but nothing was as blatant as that. That let me know
that was mental, and most of his mistakes have been physical. And he's been hunting his shot. I get it, and he's been a little bit off, and the things that he's done. This is, as a 12-year veteran, it's inexcusable. This is like maybe Trent Williams committing a false start followed by a holding penalty. I mean, you can't have your veterans making these mistakes in big games. I know this wasn't a big game, but it led to you not being able to come back from a lead that you collapsed.
Can I pivot this exact topic into veer off the corner for just a second? So here's one thing that I find interesting / frustrating a little bit. All right, listen to the conversation we just had. Did anybody at any point with this Klay Thompson foul last night blame Steve Kerr?
Not one iota.
Did that even occur to anyone?
I was sick for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Steve told him in the previous timeout, the situation, not to foul.
I mean, if you can read lips, he's screaming no foul.
Or the scoreboard.
He's screaming no foul.
If you can read the scoreboard, you know what time it is.
Yes, it's a bonehead play as a veteran, no matter what is being told to you, right?
Right.
Okay. That's how it sounds to my ears when Kyle Shanahan gets blamed for people's ankles getting hit by punts, for offensive linemen going the wrong direction, for people missing assignments. That's what it sounds like to me. It'd be no different than blaming Steve Kerr for Klay Thompson's foul.
It's apples and oranges.
Because apparently they're supposed to be out there buttoned up, and that's the responsibility of the coach.
Luter Jr., who had the punt hit him, is a rookie. And Spencer Burford is a backup who came in there. So this is not Klay Thompson, a Hall of Famer.
Well, that's fine.
To me, that's a big piece of this.
Okay, but then how about Fred Warner missing an assignment over the middle with Travis Kelce?
That's Steve Wilkes and bad defensive design.
I guess I get that's just something I've been thinking about a lot this week, which it feels to me, certain coaches, I won't make it only about Kyle, but certain coaches are held responsible for their players' mistakes because it's their responsibility for everybody to be buttoned up. Other coaches are not.
Well, Kyle's not Steve. Steve's looking for one for the thumb, and Kyle is looking to figure out a trip to the jeweler.
But that's kind of
to me that's a big thing.
That's a global response, though.
That's a big thing, though, because Steve gets a pass, and then he gets another pass, and then he gets a third pass, and then he gets a fourth pass.
Well, then what's he even doing there?
He's trying to make it back for number 5.
I mean,
and Kyle's trying to just win the big game.
What about Bosa when he crashed on the 4th and 1? Is that on Wilkes? I'm asking.
That one I have no idea because I don't know.
You can't blame Kyle for the muff.
I'm not blaming. No, by the way, I don't blame. I don't blame Steve. It's not about blaming Steve Wilkes. I give the two of you credit on this. What's bothering me about the Wilkes thing is people seem to think that it's reactive to last weekend.
Right. Thank you, man.
It was all year.
All year. Yeah.
It was all year. And yes, if you watched I hate stats. I can't.
You love stats.
Where am I going? The people
you were using DVOA when it served you about 6 weeks ago.
Listen, it's a necessary evil.
We love stats when it serves us.
No,
I tell you that all the time.
Stats are like a good waiter.
It's a necessary evil, but I'm never going to use them unless it's not to serve my narrative. It's if I think it accentuates something that I believe after watching the game. But those of you who are out there with the whole so a top 5 ranked defense wasn't good enough for you. That's why we're firing Steve Wilkes. Did you watch? You cannot.
I saw the Detroit first half.
You can't be a Niner fan and tell me you felt good about the defense this year. If you say that, then
nobody knows why.
I'll listen to you.
It's still a mystery.
Right. Because it wasn't a good
And
fit.
you got the most money on your D-line was your poorest unit at the end. That was the most baffling one.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the Clay thing is
Clay,
selfish is too strong of a word, but it's a guy who is so self-absorbed in his own game right now and trying to figure out his own game that he lost sight of what we have to do as a team. And here's the other thing. Now, I was thinking about this. Westbrook's a terrible free throw shooter, 66%. I do think there's a scenario in which Pods makes the three. Okay, there's 39. Westbrook, go ahead and look over at Kurt. We're not fouling, right? We're not fouling. Maybe you do foul, and he only makes one.
Now, where does that put you?
What I'm trying to say is, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, even that
it was Westbrook.
Yes, but there was no
This is not Shaq, though.
But it wasn't Clay looking over, double checking. We're not fouling here, right? No, go get him. It was complete obliviousness.
I think it's J.R. Smith light is what it is.
Man.
It's J.R. Smith light.
From a 12-year veteran.
Yeah.
We were in the arena that night. Yeah.
That's so funny. That's still one of my favorite NBA guys.
Where are you going? They got the memes that you went to the liquor store to get
I don't like that.
Yeah. I don't need to Steiny.
LeBron was like, where are you going? Get in the game, bud.
Totally. Totally.
I felt bad for Kerr. That was one time I was like, he looked like, dog it. I just like
For
that
Kerr?
one hurt. Yeah. And they were going to be two over.
How about we feel bad about the blown 15-point lead again? So if you want to talk about, and we can all look at the Clay foul and say, oh, Clay, you cost us the game. No,
They're probably
get a
gonna lose.
rebound.
They're probably going to lose anyway.
You were up 15.
No doubt.
And you blew another 15-point lead. So
you and the Spurs, we understand the Spurs, but not when you got Dre, Steph, and Clay.
Yeah. Big time.
Tiger taking a shot that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, behind the tree.
Little punch out from behind the tree.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to derail the segment, but Tiger was sitting in the fairway.
It's a good shot.
That's a hell of a shot.
I just hate when it's not a major for him. So if he wins this, it ain't a major.
You feel sorry for him.
No, this
feel bad
is his
for Tiger.
major.
He's not going to win this.
This is his major.
Now, why would you say that?
Well, first
This doesn't set up for him?
He's already 7 shots back.
Okay.
Number one.
But is there a course thing or something?
A little bit.
He's won there before.
I used to, and he also decided to stop coming for years. I used to cover this event.
Yeah.
And they were, do it.
Yeah.
Thank you. They were repeatedly, by the way. I've walked this course many times. Media Day is a ton of fun. But anyway, that tournament used to be annually crushed by Tigers not showing up. There's something to be said. I don't know. You know how golfers start talking about types of grass?
Poa.
That's Kikuya.
Kikuya, whatever the hell. Yeah. And you're like,
Kikuya.
Well, Aaron used to do this to me all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean? What
Manti Te'o's girlfriend,
Yeah.
Kikuya.
Well, don't expect.
Whoa.
Well, I'll tell you what. When the ball hits Kikuya, don't expect the bounce.
Okay.
Exactly.
Whatever. And so there was this thing. It's like, it's Kikuya. Tiger's not coming. And I'm like, what language? It's grass. Like we're playing golf. The ball goes where it goes.
Hey,
but anyway,
it's Tiger.
Yeah, he wouldn't come. So
why did he say his name? That is the greatest thing.
Oh, what do you guys have?
I know who it is.
What do you got meeting? We got Thursday meeting today.
Oh, yeah.
I got to get on a flight too.
Save
now
mine
where are you
Steiny's.
going?
Hold on.
My dad's funeral.
Going to me and Larry tomorrow. Larry and I.
You looked at me like you're going to feel like crap when I answer this.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, now I do.
All right, it's not a formal funeral. It's more of a ceremony.
Are you going solo, or is the big fella going? Or
Big fella's not going.
Where are you going?
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, back east.
Okay.
Enjoy, man.
I would have gone with you. We all would have gone with you. If you wanted us to go, we all would have gone.
That's all right.
Because, I mean...
Dibs could have just left it
No,
there.
I know. Like,
I met his
Are
father.
you speaking for me now? Like, I got stuff going on.
Come to think of it, you want to go and play some?
I'm speaking for Dana.
Right.
I'm speaking for
I got you.
Sal.
I'm playing.
And I met Matt's father, and his father reminds me a lot of my father. And so when I spent a little bit of time with Matt's father. I talked to him maybe 4 or 5 times in person, and every time it was like, oh my God. Can I call you daddy?
Yeah, right.
Because you are
you my daddy?
my father.
Yeah.
Dude,
He's blazed the airways at 95.7 the game.
Dibs showing up to Almond Funeral Home on Saturday at 2 saying, oh, yes, Matt's not coming. I'm here to take his place.
Then Maury Povich runs
Now
in.
batting
You
for Matt Steinmetz.
are not the father.
All right, gents, have a great show.
Now batting.
Travel safe.
game.
Yeah.